Okay, I just wanted to. I know a lot of people are having trouble saving the BGLs in editor, and I wanted to do a real quick. This is like the least amount of steps and the least possible thing you can do to get a functioning package and add scenery in the game. Let's see. First thing I want to do is projects. Now, you probably already have a project, so they'll make you create one. I do two projects. In other words, I'll have a projects folder, and then I'll make a new project folder. And this one I'm going to do for 5.1 OK, which is a Melton field, which is just a tiny little airport near my home. Doesn't have, and I'm going to create a directory. It can be named anything you want, but I use the ICAO code and then a name. And then we'll go inside of this one, and I'll create another folder, and I'm going to call it assets. Again, it doesn't have to be named exactly like I'm naming them, but these are just my naming convention. Now, that gets me ready. You don't have to do that. You can do it from within the game, but for me it's just less confusing where it's going if I actually just browse to and pick the folder that I'm going to place it in. So that's kind of the first thing I want to do is create some, and I'm using all in-game assets, so you don't have to really worry about assets, although you have to set an asset folder. That's why I create that second folder. Even if you don't have assets, it's part of the package builder process, and as far as I can tell, you have to set that. It doesn't, it won't compile. I can't get it to play that anyway. These are the steps I use, and so far I've been able to manage to get it. A lot of the how-tos or the videos I watched, I had to watch quite a few of them and do it 3-4 different times before I could figure out how to do it, because many of them, they go in depth about a lot of stuff, and it's needed, that you need to know, but only if you're like trying to replace scenery or make an entire airport. Like they'll explain the polygons to use. They're an exclusion area, so removes the scenery that's there and think. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just going to show you how to add something to an airport and save a BGL so you can then put it back in the game and activate it or install it. And we're working on 51 OK Melton, which is, like I said, just a nondescript minimal airport. Take a minute to get my game started. My poor hard drive just isn't really cut out for this. One day I'll get a better SSD for games. Maybe. Actually, the game runs decent. I'm just, I can run high with a 1070, so that's not bad. Uh, but I tend to run on medium for a couple of reasons. One, the trees don't seem so overpopulated, which isn't. I mean, on ultra it looks great, and the scenery does look a little better. Not a lot, but a little better. But the trees are just so overpopulated. On on high and medium, they're more, to me, they just seem more realistic. That one I'm streaming. I don't want to push the PC so hard with the game that when I'm streaming it's laggy. So I've been running on medium, just to keep it. Pushes my GPU up to 70-80% most of the time. If I go any higher than that, it pegs it. It'll run it, but it'll peg it. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is go options and turn on developer mode. We're gonna go to where we want to edit. In this case, I've already got it in there because I was playing with this. So we'll go to Melton. Here's the developer mode. Simple general settings. Turns that on. I don't know if this is coming. Oh, I'm not sure I should be in that. Oh well. Okay. Ignore this aircraft. You're not supposed to see that. I gotta get away from the noise. Maybe if I turn it off. I don't know. I can. What's the not the same one. Find out what shutdown is. Wrong options. That noise is gonna drive me crazy, so I gotta get rid of that. Engine on a shift control. Okay. There we go. Nothing works in this ship, so. Alright. Now I go into the drone. You don't have to, because you can use the editor and move around and slew or whatever, but since I don't know how to. As you can see, this is the airport. It does have some buildings. A couple of buildings up here. See those, but they're kind of at the other end from where I don't know. I don't understand. But anyway, we'll just throw in some scenery, maybe a building here or two, a windsock, a couple of items. All right, so new project, and we got to name it. Now this is where I created two directories. You can do it from right here. You don't have to. I mean, you can create new folders or whatever here and do it. And this is, it's already going because I did this once last night to make sure I had the steps down. So here's the folder the one I created. Let's go back. So you just browse to whatever your projects folder is, and in my case I create a second projects folder inside to separate them. You don't necessarily have to do that, and we'll name it Melton Airport. These are all, anything you want to name it is fine. Alright, now we have a project, but there's nothing in it. Now I'm doing the bare minimum steps, but of course you can put your company name or whatnot to it. So we hit the little plus sign. That's the first thing we got to do, and we're going to add a BGL, because this is what you use for, and we'll main the BGL 51. Okay. And I guess that'll work for the BGL. Create. Now here you can click it and open it, but we'll leave it on this for 1 second. And we want to look over here and open the inspector. And we want to, if it didn't open the inspector, click here. Bring your inspector up. Make sure this says scenery, for scenery obviously. And that's the only thing we need to do there. Now here, we need to go in, and here's the second folder. For some reason, I have not been able to get it to work without using this second folder. So anyway, we'll click this one, and we'll set the assets directory. I don't know why, but it won't build without an assets directory. Alright. Now at that point, we're going to hit load it. No, at this point, we're going to save. So we save our directory. It just has an empty BGL. So now we're going to load into an editor. This will bring up this scenery editor and this materials editor. And that's what we're looking for. Now you can bring the scenery editor from outside the editor, but it won't save. I can't get it to stay. So you gotta do it in there. Now, if you followed along and you're still in drone mode, if you followed along and went to drone mode, which makes it, for me, makes it easier to move around. Let's see. And then adding scenery. Alright. Here we'll view objects. Okay, and you have all this stuff you can add. These are for your exclusion polygons. I'm not sure what half of this is. The only two I'm going to use are sim objects, which are objects that actually move in the game. Now they won't move when we use them in this. They're just scenery objects when we use them. And the scenery objects is all the other generic scenery. So we'll start out with the scenery, and we'll add a hanger. I use the one click. Again, there's different ways to do it, but like I'll just get here about where I can. I say it's easier, and then I just click the one click, and there we go. Now we have a hanger. You can use this rotation and scaling. So we don't want that. That hanger is a little big. So let's make the scaling a little smaller. So what, maybe 0.8 will look good. Yeah. Now rotation, I can't tell if that's reverse. Let's spin it 180. No, it's definitely right. So actually rotation isn't bad at 0, is it? It's, I just place that, and then I'll get rid of that one click so I don't accidentally place another one. And I'm not sure what else we can, let's see, maybe a tree. Oh, you gotta have one click on. Maybe a couple of trees over here. This is just an example. I'm not really trying to build anything. And a biggie that everybody wants is would be a windsock. I mean, who doesn't need a windsock out there? That's a favorite small airport. And the windmills are cool. I just wanted to show you. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Yeah. They actually move. You can rotate them, of course. So they're pretty neat. But anyway, so we'll put a windsock here. Let's figure out where we want to place it. And for some reason, when you start the editor, your other buildings kind of act goofy, but ignore those. They'll come back when you reload it. That's almost too close to the other buildings. I want to get this somewhere like right here in between the buildings, kind of off the runway. There we go. Other thing sim objects are really good for are your aircraft. Like, let's say we wanted to add a little cub or something. Again, I just use the one click. Sometimes my poor PC is really difficult. Let's see, we need to turn that around. We'll place him like right here. Let's turned him the wrong way. A little more. Oh, I got the scaling, so let's go back to 1.0 on the scaling. And don't worry if it looks underground when you pop it. For some reason, the aircraft are always here. Now that's good enough just for some test scenery. Since it's loading us up over here, we'll be able to see it. We got, just a building, couple of trees, windsock. Alright. And you notice they're all in here, so that's good. So at this point, we want to save the scenery. And it'll automatically take you to here. I'm just going to name this scene. Actually, I think this is what the package name will be. So we're going to name this 51 OK Melton. And since it allows spaces, we can manage that. Scenery save. And that's it. The scenery is done. I got extra windows we don't need. I'm not sure I want to close them yet. Alright, so we go back to build package, or we click on this part, the package. This is the BGL, that's the package. So we'll go back to build package. We've got everything, all the steps. This is the minimum steps. So yeah, at this point, build package. And you get a bunch of errors and stuff. Make sure that's going. If you're building something huge, you'll actually get a progress bar, I think. But that's it. Now, once you build package, you should, let me double check. you should be able to go back to your package, and you'll have this new folder. Well, you have 3 new folders, but this is the one we're interested in. And there is that. Let's see what the, yeah, see it renamed. Okay, so that scenery file is what the BGL is named. Okay. I'm not sure where I picked up the 5, and that must be this asset. Okay. I'm just trying to, I'm fairly new at this. So anyway, this is the folder, the one with the layout and manifest. That is the scenery. Okay, this is what you have to move into your game install. And so I'll copy that. Well, first let's get out of all of this. And window, close console. And as you can see, the scenery's gone. I mean, we didn't actually put the scenery in the game. We created it in an editor. In an editor environment. And so we got to exit the game. And I'll move that over, and then we can reload the game, and the scenery will still be there. So if I load the game right now for it to restart, that scenery would not be there. It's created, the package is made, but it has to be placed into the game. So we'll go back here to the packages. Now, like I said, this directory right here is the one I created at the very start of the game, or this stream. And here's the assets. It should, yeah, it only has the one thing. And then packages is a new one, and we'll just copy. And then we're going to place that in your community folder. And I'm going to rename it just because I don't like the name there. But that's not necessary. And that's it. Now when we start up the sim, the scenery should be there. That building and all those assets should load up. If you can't find your scenery folder, I'll leave a. Actually, I have I'll write up a little how-to in written form. But also, if you can't find your scenery folder, there's a good video, because it can be in multiple different places depending on install or whatever. So that's a thing. I'll place it here in the chat just for fun. If you that YouTube there will show you where to find your correct community folder. There's actually 2 of them. If you've ever installed any of the liveries or anything, which are then you should know where your community folder is. But that's kind of a video in itself, and that guy did a really good job. So I'll let people use that. Grab some coffee while my slow hard drive's loading. But yeah, for me, I mean, I know a lot of more of the advanced stuff, but I had to get past this stage, and this is the stage where most people get hung up. There's 2 things that was hanging me up, because I mean, it used to be all command line utilities back in FSX to do this, and one is having to create that, having to set an asset folder. I couldn't figure that one out. And the other thing kept opening the scenery editor and just trying to edit scenery, or place items, and I couldn't figure out how to save it. And well, that's because I wasn't doing it in the editor. I was just opening it up in the game, and you don't have any. It doesn't have the BGL, the package data to save it to yet. So I was kind of getting ahead of myself, and that kind of hung me up. So the steps are like create the package, open the editor, and then edit the scenery. And I can already see our building. And that's it. Our scenery is there. So it worked. As you can see, like for some reason, when you go into that editor mode, the buildings that are already there are odd. I've had them float in the air. I've had them disappear entirely. Yeah, there's our scenery. And so just a way to spice up your favorite airport, or add some flair or whatever to an empty airport that you're working on. And really cool. Good way to also just to get started on the scenery builder. It's a lot better to try and start basic and get the basics down, and then you can add more advanced stuff and if it's working or not, right? If you have a process from start to finish that is working, then you can add something, and if it doesn't work, then you want to have a lot more change. But that's basically it. I guess this is actually, I guess I should mention this, since it's obviously a specialty aircraft that you won't see very often. This is Flight Replicas JDT Minimax and Ultralight, fixed wing ultralight, which is really cool. And it's an FSX aircraft. Tongue twist here. That I basically just copied in. I didn't do anything. All the textures aren't right. The windshield is solid, because I guess the transparency isn't coming through, and but it actually flies. It flies, and I won't say good. In FSX, it's actually an excellent flying aircraft. Of course, it's slower than Christmas, but I think it's got like a 27 horsepower engine, right? But it and you can't tell it. He has a lot of specular glare and all this other stuff on it in FSX. It's to me, it was one of the very few freeware add-ons that seemed like it'd be worth porting in, and I still got to do a lot of work, obviously. I just threw it in last night, packaged, downloaded it from Flight Replica's site, or Symbiation, I think, and literally extracted the package, added it, made a package for Microsoft Flight Sim out of it, and threw it in there, and it worked. I was amazed. So I'm not in the legacy flight mode or anything, and it actually flies. Let's see, what is it? Controlling. Kind of fly it. Like, I'm not going to bother flying it. I flew it, and in fact, I even turned my HUD on here, so I have some gauges. It's such a slow aircraft that it's almost not worth messing with it, at least until I get the textures and everything back on. but it's just such a cool little airplane. And I flew, it wasn't like this one, but something similar, fixed wing ultralight like that at one time. Alright, well that's actually all I was wanting to do was create a quick how-to. I want to keep it short, just so I can upload it to YouTube. If it helps anybody, great. If not, oh well, I gave it my best. And create an easy, simple add-on scenery. It's not whole airport stuff. There's a lot more to it, but like I said, I like to get a working production line, and then I can add polygons and advanced stuff. But y'all have a great day. It's Saturday for me, so I'm gonna go out and start on some yard work, and I'll probably see you Monday. Have a good day and take care out there.